So this session, yoga with props, we use the technique of a double strap, and it's not the easiest setup to maneuver because you're dealing with two straps and it's kind of a challenge, but we'll try to make it as painless as possible and go through different variations of the benefits of using two straps. So we'll start out by creating two big loops. Each strap will have a big loop, and we're going to allow this to go over the thighs and the legs. You bring your feet to the wall and take one strap, and you want to measure it around to the pelvic area and put both feet in the strap loop. So it gives you a good reference point and to relax. Now gently lift the right leg through the loop, and then the second strap will go to the right foot, the one that's going through, and you're going to take the loop around your waist. So there's going to be some adjustment as far as the length of the strap, and you don't want to find the sweet spot with everything. But that first strap going around the lengthened leg and the lifted hip encourages that movement of the right thigh to the wall, giving you space. And then the second strap that goes around the back ribs and the lifted leg allows you to relax the shoulders and really become comfortable in this pose. That's what makes this so beautiful and enjoyable, because you're able to really relax into it, so it's more restorative, and you subtly engage it in different areas that you normally wouldn't, because you need, normally you're having the shoulders and the strength to uphold the leg, or the shoulders to work it. Now you're able to let that go until totally relax, but bring the focal point into the purpose of the pose. So allow your face muscles to relax, the jaw to relax, the shoulder heads are going back. And when you're done on that side, we switch sides. And bring both feet back into the first loop for a few moments. And then you take it right as high up on the thigh as possible as you bend the left knee. Draw the knee into the chest, and then wrap it around. I'd recommend the lifted leg, that the strap go below the toe mount. Sometimes we want it so high up. We just want to be able to maintain and get all 5 toes into the loop, and allow yourself to relax and lengthen. So now you have the left thigh moving towards the wall, okay? And then the right thigh, you're rooting down towards the ground. And your tailbone, you want to imagine that it's going straight to the right heel. So it's sinking. When we say down, it's really down in space towards the wall, bottom of the wall. And the strap that's going around the lifted leg, it's kind of high right now, but it's not so far high up to the underarms. So it's just kind of more of a comfortable space here. Okay, and it doesn't really matter, I think, the first go around. You're really just trying to, it depends on your flexibility of it all. Okay, now go ahead and lower down the left leg. Grab both straps. Sometimes you can use that to hike yourself up. And then bring both feet into the strap loop, and just allow yourself to digest with just the intelligence of it all coming back to you. Now, we're going to go back to the first side. And this time we're going to bring the strap as high as you can underneath the underarms. You're going to tuck the arms through the center, right? So the strap we have onto the upper back, and the extended leg strap again, you're just reseating everything, and it's the same pose. Releasing the arms. It's just going to be a little higher. And grab a bolster and bring it off to your right hand side. Okay? So I'll give you a moment here to, it deepens the leg lift stretch, right? Now grab the straps and tug on the, I find the outside strap might allow the right leg to move over to the side easier. And you just adjust and notice what works for you. And again, you can see here that the strap is a little high on the toe mount and feels like it wants to slip off. So you want to kind of have it in the right place, and you can always adjust. And the first time doing these kind of poses with a lot of props may not be the easiest initially until you start discovering what works for you in the poses. You're rooting down the left thigh towards the ground. Also, the tailbone is rooting towards the baseboard, towards the left heel. Try to let the shoulder blades become really flat upon the earth, and the back skull lengthens. And just, you know, the support of the right leg is minimal with the bolster. Okay, you have the strap supporting it out wide, but you also have the bolster really high upon the outside thigh. Bring the right leg over to the left and keep the right hip pegged down. So wherever that is for you, it might only go over a foot. I'm giving you an IT band stretch. Bring the bolster over onto your left side in preparation to do a full supine twist supported by the straps. And when you're ready, you can grab the outside of the lifted leg strap. Kind of gives you that rotation. Feels good. And you're stacking the hips. Arms out wide. You can even bring your gaze over to the right hand if you like. And just tune into your breath here. Really feel the breath might not be able to go into the spaces it normally does when we do a deep twist here. But you can feel the twist initiating from the inner groins, right? Bring yourself back to center, and then we're going to switch here. So I like to bring both feet into the loop for a moment first before we switch. Then you can also adjust the buckle to be in a place that's not necessarily onto skin or flesh. So usually you want to have the buckles in the extra flap part of it handy. And again, that comes with time, and sometimes we don't allow ourselves the time to do those things and we just rush into it. So take your time in between the poses. In this video we kind of cut out some of the in-between spaces, and I think it's necessary, right? You're lifting the left leg up and then moving it out wide. So the bolster is going to be high up onto the leg, just because it depends on your flexibility as well. So I think as long as you're able to keep that right back thigh towards the ground, that'll give you a measurement of how open the gait is on the left leg. Okay? So if that right hip starts coming up, just to get the appearance of the flexibility of the left hip, it's not how the pose looks. All right. So you want the congruency of the pelvis on the right side as you open up the left side. You don't want to sacrifice the congruency. So the right thigh is moving towards the center line. Okay? Pressing the right foot into the wall. So if you wanted to do this with a single strap and having the foot on the wall, sometimes that's enough, right? To allow yourself to feel the integration. But doing it with that second strap really educates your body in a felt presence sort of way of how your body is to engage in a pose. So bring the left leg over just enough to feel the stretch on the left side, the IT band, and keep the left hip pegged to the earth. And then when you're ready, you bring it all the way over, stacking the hips, bringing the gaze over to the left hand. You make the adjustments as necessary. Can you have engagement on the distal side of things? On the hands and the feet, but also on the return. Can you make the origin side of the leg, the closer to the pelvis, engage as well? So it's the effort and the return in the engagement of things. Or I'd like to say the circuitry. In electrical terms, you have the positive and the return. And without the circuitry, the electricity doesn't flow. So can you feel the flow in your body from the effort and return? Bring the left leg back up, and again, just let this be a little restore in between the poses, right? Technically, this can be a restorative kind of practice. Just allow yourself to digest and let the intelligence rise to the surface. And rise back up. So we're going to move to extended leg, but this is more like a hammock. I call this a hammock pose, like a head pillow. And you're bringing the strap around the toe mount, so the left leg's extended to the wall, and you might want to tighten up the strap a little bit from where it was around your sides. So now it's into like the little head knuckle part, and it should feel really good and a good stretch on your neck. And notice the corresponding movement of the ankle of this lifted leg and the head. So maybe you create circles with the foot and let the strap massage the skull and also the subtle movements in the neck. So it's really a personal discovery here. It's what feels good. And that's what I love about this part of this pose. When you get here, it's really just so subtle and personal, and it's like a deep therapeutic massage and release in the neck and also the ankle. As you can see, I probably can do this for a while, and I hope you get to that point where you have a pose that you just enjoy so much, and the variations that you just go deep into the striads and the muscular movement and connectiveness of everything in your body. Good, and now we're going to switch sides. Allow yourself to rise back up. Step the left leg through the loop. So it's high, make sure it's high onto the hip crease. And you may have one side different than the other, right? And it's okay if your knee is bent a little bit. Adjust what's necessary for you. Feel the back leg starting to straighten, and notice how point and flexing of the foot with the ankle will change the pose, change the sensation of a pose. Now nod no with your head, and notice how the pronation and supination of the ankle corresponds with the movement of the head. It's almost like a little buffer on the back of the skull. So yeah, there's no, I guess, exact protocol for this. If it feels right, then go with it and be gentle and subtle. Explore. And notice what's available for you today. I think at this moment I really needed a good neck release from all the tension and stress from what's going on. So I hope you guys are trying this on and enjoying it as much as I enjoyed filming this. I'll slowly grab both sides of the strap to help yourself come up. And now we're moving towards a double strap wide leg scenario. Okay. And we do this in yin class often, wide leg folds. And in here you may have to adjust the straps to allow, depending upon the flexibility of how wide your legs will go. So you might want to start loose first and have the flaps of the buckles handy. So you notice how I have them more around where the knees are. So you don't want them on your flesh. You want them just where you can have access to it to tighten it once you get to your edge of the pose. So once you find that width, start to tighten up the straps. Good. Now grab onto the straps and start to elongate the spine and really feel the sits bones rooting down. And you may notice that with the straps you're able to rotate the legs a little better. So here we're externally rotating. Notice how the heels, the knife edges of the feet are going almost towards the floor. And when I pull the outsides of the straps, kind of gave that greater sensation, and then also less of rounding of the lower back. Now we made this a little more restore by bringing a bolster and moving the crown of the head towards it. So everybody's flexibility is different, and you may adjust this depending upon how it works for you. So my goal here is to fold forward but also keep the torso lengthening, almost like a plane moving from the sits bones rising up. So I was playing around with different versions here. The hands become active, the arm bones are hugging back. See the crown lifting up, even the chest, the collarbones broadening wide, opening up. Not that rounding the back is always bad, but you want to just feel the legs and the pelvis and the movement and inner action, engagement, to give you a different experience. So once you find that space that you can become comfortable, and you can help dissolve and maybe what's holding you from relax deeper into the pose. So it's very subtle body movement once you get to this point. And it's usually around where the origin of the legs connect to the pelvis, and the pelvic floor, and the lifting of the pit of the belly in and up. So there's a lot of deep fascia and deep tissue, connective tissue in that area. So yeah, it takes time when you hold these poses for 3 to 5 minutes. You're really letting time to be exchanged for effort. So once you get beyond the initial effort to get into a pose, allowing yourself in time to be in it will transition from that effort to subtle. Now go ahead and sit back. Allow yourself to extend through and grab the right arm onto the strap as the left arm comes over, reaching for the toe. So you have this kind of cross twisting sensation going on. So you're able to grab onto the strap with the left hand, right hand, whatever you can reach. It could be a shin strap. And then we're going to twist the spine, right? So right shoulder hugs under as the left shoulder opens. So the gaze can lift upwards towards the sky. And we're not just collapsing on the right side of the body. You're going to have this external rotation of the right thigh, and then the right side of the body is twisting and lengthening. And we're going to switch sides. Left hand comes under, right hand comes over. Elongate. And as we lower down, and once you reach maybe your bind, the magic is going to come once the bind happens. And then from there, you're going to use the reference points of whatever you're connected to start to elongate and feel that space between the torso and the upper left thigh. And you play around with the rotations and lengthening and all the ways to maneuver, and then you can become subtle with the effort and then start to succumb to time into the pose. Good. Release the right hand up and bring yourself back forward. Give yourself time to digest. Kind of get this felt understanding, the presence of it all. We're going to move the wide legs towards the wall and explore here. So it's just a kind of an added reference point, and maybe you can allow the crown of the head to reach the wall. Everybody's different, and some people are just going to be straight up against the wall, and you know, it depends on how wide they can get their legs, and then also how far they can fold under. So it's just different. It's worth the time here. Maybe the hands reach out to the outer toes. Anytime you get a bind, you can start tilting the pelvis forward or lengthening the spine, the crown. Now we move into our back, tugging on the straps and kind of moving on the, I guess, the inner straps. Kind of gives you a different perspective, doing allowing the back to be a little more straighter, and it takes a little more integration or activeness or engagement to keep the legs up, but the straps help. And feel how, you know, certain sides of the strap help rotate the legs. So this is all about experiential learning through props. Props are like assisting. And here's a different perspective. Play with moving the legs straight and wide, lowering it down, and you're going to notice it just gives you different feelings in the hips. So it's all coming from different angles. Sometimes we do this pose on a wall where our backs recline down and the heels are on the wall. So that gives you different reference points. We do that in restorative yoga and it feels really good. But doing it to where it's the straps hugging from a different angle opens up just a deeper awareness. So now here we're coming from the front view. And you can see how tugging on the inner strap helps open. And sometimes you can do this without the straps, just by hooking the peace fingers onto the big toes. It's like going from point A to point B. All of these little stepping stones and tools we use get us there. We're just really being here and being present. Now we're going to try a little happy baby with the double straps. I've done them with the single, and we're trying to explore just how that might work or not work. First, we keep in wide leg here for a moment. You may have one hip more open than the other, and this sometimes helps keep it a little more parallel or a little more congruent. So now tightening up the straps, moving into happy baby. So now what is the purpose of using the straps? And again, the strap can be to allow you to release the arms, or you can use the strap to give you a different viewpoint of the pose, give you a deeper access. So spend your time in the pose and discover. So we tighten it to go to happy baby. Now we want to loosen it if we want to go straight legs. Back to waterfall. Bring the ankles, glue them together. You might notice the feet, are they directly parallel? Does one foot pronate inward? Keeping the straight legs, let's do Dandasana, seated pose. So this I found was very enjoyable, where the straps help keep my lower back a little straighter, and I was able to almost go into a seated back bend, like a camel pose, just about, opening up the heart, collarbones broadening, lengthening the upper ribs back, and then the left hand comes forward for a twist and grab a strap or toe. You really feel yourself lengthening upward, and then switching side, right hand comes to whatever it reaches and left hand comes back. Try to keep the left shoulder down, shoulder head back and into the body, and then revolve back to center. Now bringing both straps up and the arms through, we'll work on a double strap boat pose. I find that this is a little easier on the feet. And we're trying to straighten the spine and lift the feet up. And this is always a challenge in balancing. It's more beneficial if you have a cushion your tush, but just allow the heart to open, even though the arms are wanting to come towards each other. Lifting the crown of your head upward. As the heart opens, the biceps move towards the sky. And maybe go wide with the legs if you can. Try it on. Yeah. So it's like a wide leg boat pose. Draw the feet back together. And then lower back down. Back to Dandasana. Feels really good. Encourages your spine to be lengthened. Create space in between the vertebra. Good. Couple more breaths here. And then go ahead and release, fold forward. So now doing a double strap into lotus or seated Sukhasana pose, whatever version of the legs you have crossed. Swastisthasana. And again, you want to put the buckle not on the skin. Hopefully you bring it somewhere onto the between the knee and the hip or on the inside. I don't think this doesn't have to be too tight. I'm going to have a little bit of slack, but it also allows the legs to feel connected a little deeper, and it just brings a different awareness to the seat and how to maneuver maybe the upper thighs in movement and space to lessen any pain. It's just a different sensation. Allow the shoulders to drop back and down. Feel the palms towards the sky. The arm bones rotating externally. We'll do a few little cat-cows seated. It's really beautiful and nice to work it this way. Inhale, feel the heart open. And then exhale, drawing the chin towards the chest. Just feel the abdomen and the core really feeling engaged. The bandhas, the mula bandha, pelvic floor interaction. Knitting the ribs together on the Uddiyana bandha. The mula bandha is the pelvic floor. The Uddiyana bandha is more in the solar plexus area. And then the Jalandhara bandha from the crown to the shoulder connect. Now bringing your feet into Supta Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of your feet together, and then we're going to take the straps around the knees, still double loop, and draw a bolster behind you. And we're going to open up. Let the shoulder heads move towards the ground. It's more of a restorative pose. Adjust the strap lengths. And like in every movement, the subtleties of the strap being loose or tightened will make all the difference in the world. Let's see if you can get to a point where you totally relax. Soles of your feet, maybe bring the heels closer towards the sit bones. Bring the forearms above your head, maybe bring the hands to the elbows into a ragdoll. Magnetizing the lower ribs towards the pelvis. Feel the upper back ribs lengthen, the crown of the head lengthens, the chin moves towards the upper chest. And again, allowing time to be exchanged for effort, being fully supported. As this is a heart opening pose, help lift your spirits in a time of challenge, a time of apathy. And when we feel like we want to give up, poses like this can really help uplift us. Also, having the leg pits and armpits open can help purify and open up the lymph nodes. Bring the hands up to the sky, cross the hands over the elbows. Create little circles with the arm bones. Just whatever feels good here. If you need some more subtle movements, give yourself a hug. This feels really good when you can wrap the arms around to the back shoulder blades. This always feels good and comforting. You're going to switch the orientation of the left arm being on top of the right. And slowly, when you're ready, you can bring the knees together, roll over onto one side. I appreciate you exploring with the double straps, and I hope that it was able to open up a little bit more access and a different awareness, greater awareness to poses of your body. And thank you. Namaste.